Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys Are the Way, I will be sharing my top 25 most wanted all-new vintage collection figures and encouraging you to do the same as part of SWTVC's March Madness Top 25 submissions. The amazing team over at the SWTVC Instagram page is gathering top 25 lists from around the community. The information they gather will be used to build a TVC March Madness bracket, which all members of the community can participate in later. This is a fun way to see where fans' priorities are when it comes to what we want to see in the vintage collection. Here you can see my bracket from last year with Asajj Ventress as my winner. She was a heavy contender, and it's awesome that we will finally be seeing her master, Count Dooku, added to the vintage collection later this year, which hopefully means we might see her as well. So if you are interested, submit a top 25 list of your most wanted all-new TVC figures on the Google form that the team has provided. The link to the form will be in the description down below. Remember, SWTVC will be using the results to build this year's SWTVC March Madness bracket, so choose wisely, and please follow these guidelines. Submit your list at the link. You must submit via the Google form to have your choices counted this year. Rank your choices in order, with your most wanted figure at number 1. Be as specific as possible. If the character has multiple looks, please specify the outfit, scene, and/or media property they are from. 1 character per slot. Do not list multiple characters on a single line, such as the Bad Batch. The only exceptions are the Tonica sisters. They will be combined, so if you want both sisters, just use one line that says Tonica sisters. 2 tubes. They will be combined, so if you want both of these characters, just use one line that says 2 tubes. Focus on newly tooled figures. They can be never before made characters or updates to existing figures, but be mindful of what already exists. This is about new figures, not repacks, repaints, or partially tooled figures. You have from now until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, January 31st to submit or edit your list. Feel free to share your list on this video, other participating social media sites, or create your own Instagram page and tag at SWTVC. Be sure to spread the word. The more people who participate, the better the results will be. Last year, they received nearly 700 lists covering over 1,000 different figures, and the team would love to get even more this time. Please note, this is just for fun, to see where fans' priorities are when it comes to the vintage collection. This is not officially involved with Hasbro or Lucasfilm in any way. So I definitely encourage you to participate and let your top 25 be known, and may the Force be with you. For my top 25, we'll begin at the bottom of the list, starting with number 25, Greedo. I have been wanting an all-new Greedo figure for quite some time. The older Saga Collection version is a decent release, but does not meet the incredible standards of today's sculpting and articulation. Therefore, I would like to see a definitive version of this original 96 character added to the vintage collection. Additionally, this tooling could possibly be used to deliver other Rodians from across the entire Star Wars galaxy and different media. I would certainly get a few for customs. Moving on, at number 24, we have Zutmore, better known as Snaggletooth. This good-looking holiday special character was immortalized on the original 96 Kenner card for the Snaggletooth figure and is an essential Finish the 96 character. I am a big fan of Snivians and Star Wars aliens in general, and who wouldn't want this tracksuit Snaggle added to their collection? Coming in at number 23, we have everyone's favorite amphibian, Frog Lady from The Mandalorian. She's been a highly requested character in the vintage collection for quite some time now, and everything about her just says Star Wars action figure. Her name is reminiscent of Kenner characters such as Walrus Man and Squidhead, and she is an essential piece of the puzzle in completing our Maldo Kreese deluxe displays. Moving right along at number 22, we have another essential Mandalorian character, and it is the Client. As Season 3 of The Mandalorian has come and gone, it is such a disappointment that we still do not have this Imperial Loyalist added to our collections. He is 100% essential to finishing our Navarro Cantina playsets and displays. Coming in at number 21, we have Peli Motto, also from The Mandalorian, an exceptional character who would continue to help build out our collections and displays, especially now that we have Mando's glorious N1 Starfighter. I could envision this figure packed with a pit droid, and she would be a fantastic addition to our Razor Crest or N1 display. Peli is definitely a must-have in my opinion. Moving on, at number 20, we have Dryden Voss from Solo. It is truly a shame how few characters we have from this movie, despite some of the amazing character designs. It's really an enjoyable story, and it would be fantastic to get this Crimson Dawn villain added to the vintage collection. We definitely need more villains in the line. And Dryden Voss would not be complete without my number 19 pick, Kira, sporting her Kessel Run look. Kira is one of my favorite characters from the movie, and it would be phenomenal to get a fully articulated figure of her sporting an amazing red soft goods cape. Moving right along, we have my number 18 pick, Bodhi Rook from Rogue One. This Imperial cargo pilot is one of the last remaining figures needed to finish off the Rogue One crew, and was sadly only offered as a fully articulated figure in the neighboring scale. Additionally, Bodhi's tooling would be great for adding custom Imperial cargo pilots to our displays. Next up, we have another must-have character from Rogue One, number 17, Saw Gerrera. Saw is a glaring omission from the vintage collection, and once again, it's a shame he was only offered to our neighboring scale. Hopefully some of the tooling could be used for his younger appearance during Andor, and really add to our overall collections. This would be a fantastic release, and if we were able to get 2 tubes into the line as well, our Rogue One collections would be looking pretty awesome. Finishing off my Rogue One must-haves, we have number 16, Baze Malbus, an essential character for finishing off the Rogue One crew. He is an absolute must-have. So much time has passed since Rogue One, and I don't want Hasbro to forget that we still need essential figures from this movie. This character would make an excellent addition to our Scarif battle displays, and I would love to finally add him to my collection. Coming in at number 15, we have Old Man Captain Rex from Rebels Season 4. Captain Rex is a fan favorite character who not only deserves a definitive young clone version, but his later old man look as well. I think this would be a great figure to get into the line, and it would be a strong addition to our Rebels figures and carded collections. And finishing off my Rebels characters, we have number 14, Fen Rao sporting his Season 4 look. This Mandalorian protector would make an exceptional action figure and would continue to world build Season 4 of the Rebels and Vintage collection. His armor has a very unique look in the later seasons, and with the level of craftsmanship Hasbro is capable of, Fen Rao would be a marvelous figure. Moving right along with my list, we have number 13, Qui-Gon Jinn from The Phantom Menace. Many prequel trilogy figures are simply out of date and do not hold up to the modern standards we are currently seeing in the Vintage collection. An all-new Qui-Gon Jinn is a must-have character and would be a nice start to some serious updates needed for our Jedi Order figures. Next up, at number 12, we have another essential Phantom Menace character who is desperately in need of a proper figure in the Vintage collection, Padme Amidala from the Battle of Naboo. This character does not have a single 375 release with ball-jointed hips, and was recently announced for the neighboring scale, but with no signs of a future TVC figure. We need a proper Padme in the Vintage collection, and this would be a great start. Coming in at number 11, we have the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker, Tatooine, another Phantom Menace character who needs an all-new from the ground up figure in the Vintage collection. Once again, Anakin was just released in the neighboring scale, and it is an absolute shame that our option for this character is a 5 POA Power of the Force 2 figure from 1999. And then we have the remaining members of the Bad Batch crew, who are simply a slap in the face omission for the Vintage collection. The neighboring scale has both Season 1 and Season 2 looks added to their collection already, while 375 fans are left with scraps as the final season of the show approaches. In previous years, I had Hunter and Imperial Crosshair listed on my top 25, and while luckily we got Hunter added to the line, he still does not have the rest of Clone Force 99 or Imperial Crosshair to interact with. Therefore, the entire team is ranked in favor of Most Wanted, with Tech at number 6 and Omega coming in last at number 10 on my list of top 25 figures. And Hasbro needs to take note. We want the Bad Batch in the Vintage collection now, not later. And at last, we have my top 5 most wanted new figures in the Vintage collection. Coming in at number 5, we have an essential army builder and character that has been on my list for quite some time, the Umbaran warrior from the Clone Wars. The Darkness on Umbara story was an epic battle for the 501st Legion, and it would only be proper to finally add their opponent to the Vintage collection. We have plenty of clone troopers from that episode, such as Captain Rex, ARC Trooper 5s, 501st clones, and even Waxer from the 212th Battalion. But we still need these Umbaran warriors to tell the story of the 501st Legion. Next up, we have General Pong Krell from the Clone Wars. This Jedi Master, who renounced the Order and became loyal to the Sith, would make an excellent figure for our 501st troopers to interact with. Once again, the Darkness on Umbara is a fan favorite Clone Wars story, and I would love to add Pong Krell to my 501st display, and there is no doubt that he would make an exceptional action figure. Coming in at number 3, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan is another extremely out-of-date figure who would greatly benefit from a proper release. It's a shame how outdated our Jedi figures are, and they are no longer worthy of being on the console or our shelf displays. Not only would this figure elevate our Revenge of the Sith collections, but it could be leveraged with new arms for a Clone Wars release as well. Moving on, at number 2, we have Flashback Ahsoka Tano Padawan. While we do have a similar version of Ahsoka's young Padawan look in the vintage collection, it is far from perfect due to the horribly outdated articulation and poor head sculpt. The flashback scenes in Ahsoka were phenomenal, and this is a great opportunity for Hasbro to release a proper Padawan Tano in the vintage collection. In fact, I will take any and all versions of Ahsoka they are willing to make. And at last, we have my number 1 most wanted brand new vintage collection figure, the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith. I think it's safe to say that the collecting community was enchanted to see Anakin in the Ahsoka series flashback, and it certainly has shined light on the need for a proper release of this character in the vintage collection. An all new from the ground up Anakin Skywalker would not only improve our Revenge of the Sith shelves, but would also make a great addition to our Clone Wars and Ahsoka collections as well. If Hasbro wanted to take advantage of these repaint opportunities, I would gladly take them all. So there you have it, my top 25 most wanted new vintage collection figures. I would absolutely love to see all of these characters make it into our collections one day. The quality of 100% newly tooled figures in the vintage collection has been truly impressive, and I want to see the number of new figures continue to grow and expand the tooling library. So be sure to list your top 25 most wanted new vintage collection figures in order on the Google form linked in the description down below. Remember, you have from now until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, January 31st to create and submit your list. And please remember to follow the ranking rules. And be sure to check out the SWTVC podcast or YouTube channel as the team shares more information and goes over their individual lists. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.